Tuesday and Wednesday, witnesses will be questioned under oath about what led up to that crash that killed 15 people. Hey, Gil, it was yet another frustrating and emotional day for families. It's expected to be an emotional 2 days. I'm told relatives of those who died plan to attend here in person. I'll keep you updated on air and online. But through all that technical language you just heard, the emotion in the room was palpable. There was a separate room to the side with the doors shut that the families of victims could sit and watch the hearing, waiting for answers. But ahead at 10, learn about the warning 50 years ago and the recommendations the NTSB made that they say the FAA did not follow. This is a copy of what broke during the UPS plane crash. It's the part that's supposed to connect the wing to the engine. This bearing inside here cracked, which ultimately caused this part, the outer green, to split off, detaching the engine from the plane.
The design was that if this forward lug was to break, for instance, or fracture, the aft lug should be able to maintain and stay in place, correct?
Correct.
Boeing says the failed part met what's called fail-safe requirements, meaning if one side broke, the other should still support the load. But UPS argued the crash itself proves that system failed.
So we heard over the last few days that the lugs were fail-safe. The accident establishes that the lugs were not fail-safe. Is that correct?
I would not agree. Fail-safe only means that if you fail one element, that the other element would be able to maintain limit load.
Another major focus, why Boeing never classified the failed part as a principal structural element, or PSE. That designation is reserved for parts considered critical to safe flight and would have required stricter inspections and oversight. You believe Boeing did not classify that part as PSE because it would be costly to them?
That was, from our perspective, this was one of the classic cases of Boeing putting profits over individual safety.
Brad Cosgrove represents loved ones of people who died in the fiery crash.
And it's been real tough to hear the truth of what happened behind closed doors that wasn't disclosed to the aviation world or to the public that would have prevented the crash.
The FAA testified it believes the failed part should have been classified as a PSE. Boeing has not reclassified that part. Sean Garber, who lost 12 employees and customers at his business, says the hearing exposed failures at multiple levels.
People just didn't do their jobs and they should be held accountable for this horrific tragedy.
So I want to go back and look at another one of NTSB's recommendations.
Investigators also drew parallels to a 1979 crash involving another McDonnell Douglas aircraft in Chicago, where the engine also detached, killing 273 people. Boeing officials testified the pylons on the two planes are very similar. Nearly 50 years ago, the NTSB held a hearing just like this one and made recommendations to improve safety that it says the FAA declined to follow.
To not take action.
The NTSB asking the FAA why.
Is this still the FAA's position today?
I was not familiar with that recommendation.
Wednesday wrapped up the two-day investigative hearing. The NTSB's full report with recommendations to make sure that this doesn't happen again likely won't be released until more than a year after the crash. In Washington, Addie Shaney, WDRB News. Tuesday's hearing centered on one major question. If officials knew this part had failed before, why didn't leaders do something to stop this from happening again? Several loved ones of those who died sat inside the hearing room.
Loved ones are the reason we're here.
Video first shown at the hearing captures the moment the engine tears away from the plane before crashing into Sean Garber's business, killing 12 of his employees and customers.
At that particular time, when that particular plane was going through it, our business was still there, and those people were still there.
The NTSB says a piece inside the pylon, which is the structure connecting the engine to the wing, split, causing the engine to detach from the aircraft. UPS requires detailed inspections of that part every 72 months.
The general visual inspection.
UPS officials testified those inspection requirements followed Boeing's recommendations, which UPS believed were sufficient. San Antonio Aerospace inspected the pylon in 2021 and lubricated the failed part again in October 2025, just 1 month before the crash. Investigators also zeroed in on troubling parallels to the past. The MD-11 was designed as an improvement to the DC-10, the same model involved in the deadliest plane crash in U.S. history. In that 1979 Chicago crash, the left engine also detached from the plane, killing 273 people. And investigators revealed Tuesday the problems did not stop there. Since 2002, there have been 10 known fractures involving the same part that failed in Louisville. Only 4 were reported to the FAA. In 2008, Boeing issued a service letter warning about the same part involved in the Louisville crash, but the company did not require the replacement of the part, writing it did not impact the safety of flight condition. Attorney Brad Cosgrove, who represents multiple victims, says other Boeing documents show the danger was known. In a different 2008 document, Boeing wrote the bearing must be removed and replaced prior to further flights. UPS officials testified they were never fully aware of the scope of the issue.
If we would have known that at UPS, I think we would have asked a lot of different questions over the years.
Throughout the hearing, witnesses repeatedly acknowledged major gaps in how safety information is shared across the aviation industry.
What's the next UPS crash? What if the next one occurs?
The NTSB chair asking UPS.
UPS, are you confident that another accident would occur? Are you confident it wouldn't occur?
No. The reason why is we rely on the FAA and Boeing's determination.
I mean, they had plenty of opportunity to do things that would have prevented that accident, and they chose not to.
This was day 1 of a 2-day hearing. Wednesday will focus on the design of the pylon itself. In Washington, Addie Shaney, WDRB News.